The Cleveland Cavaliers have started off the season as one of the best teams in the league, and while I had predicted that they would be a top seed in the Eastern Conference, I must say they are looking like an even bigger threat to the title than I originally gave them credit for. So, are the Cleveland Cavaliers title contenders in this incredibly deep NBA? Let's talk about it. So as I said in the intro, this is an incredibly deep NBA, so I want to make it clear that my original hesitance to declare this team as potentially a contender, as I feel this is the case for most people, isn't because the Cavaliers did not have the structure of a championship level roster, but rather that there are just so many championship level rosters in the NBA that they really came out towards the very bottom of that and probably fell out of a contender level category. But frankly, the way that they have been playing thus far is making me question that, combined with the fact that there are multiple teams that have been labeled as contenders and I would thought would be better than the Cavaliers that have really struggled out of the gate, including the Warriors and the Clippers and the Nets. The biggest catalyst in me kind of changing my mind on this team has to be Donovan Mitchell, because without him being added to this team, we would not be having this conversation, with all due respect to last year's Cavs team. Mitchell so far this year is averaging 31 points and 6 assists on 50, 45, 86 splits, having a 64% true shooting percentage. 31 on 64% true shooting is insanity for a guard. To put that into perspective, when Zion averaged 27 on that same efficiency, it was the most efficient 27 that had ever been averaged. So Donovan Mitchell is outdoing that, mostly taking jump shots. The most absurd thing above all has been that he is shooting 45% from 3 while taking 9 of them a game, with more than half of those threes being off of the dribble. For comparison, just to give you an idea of just how bananas B-A-N-A-N-S. I just had a stroke. B-A-N-A-B-A-N-A-N-A-S. That's how you spell it. Here's how bananas his shooting has been. That's just 2 less three-point attempts on the same percentage as 2016 Steph, the greatest shooting season that there's ever been. Donovan Mitchell has always been an underrated three-point shooter, but at this point, he is becoming one of the best in the league. Now, I don't expect this percentage to hold at this level, but it is clear that Mitchell has taken his superstar playoff play and applied it to the regular season. And he is really what Cleveland was missing in the first place, a superstar shot creator. Because of those threes, over half of them have been off of the dribble. Combine that with Darius Garland's off of the dribble three-point game and both of their catch and shoot three-point games, and we probably have the best shooting backcourt since the Splash Brothers. What can allow Mitchell to have more dominance is having Darius Garland by his side. Though he has not played many games with Garland thus far, he's been even better in the ones where Darius did play. Garland is one of the best young guards in all of basketball, and for the first time in Donovan Mitchell's career, he has a genuine all-star level guard next to him. Now, I understand that Mike Conley technically made the all-star team in Donovan Mitchell's third year or whatever, but Darius Garland is many steps above what that year's Mike Conley was. So that's been the catalyst to their success on offense. This backcourt is just so incredibly offensively talented. What the Cavs run is actually fairly simple because they can afford to have something fairly simple. Pretty much one of these two guards attacks while the other one spots up and or is on the bench. Well, not and. You can't spot up and be on the bench, so or. And while one of them attacks, the other is such a knockdown shooter the defense can't bring help off of them, and if they do, both of them are capable enough passers to find that open three. And whether this is coming off of a screen or an isolation, it's pretty much a fit. it's pretty much evenly effective. The big men on this team don't even really need plays ran for them most of the time because the creation from their guards gives them so many easy opportunities, they are filling it up without even wasting a breath. And those same big men, though they are contributing quite a bit less offensively than Mitchell and Garland are, defensively, they are the reason why the Cavs are the second best defense in basketball. And mind you, the Milwaukee Bucks are a historically great defense, so that's why they're number one. But so far, the Cleveland Cavaliers have also been a historically great defense. Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen are both capable of keeping the paint completely on lock, as they are both fantastic rim protectors, but they also have the foot speed to defend the perimeter, and that's both of them. Two 7-footers who are not going to be a mismatch for basically anybody on the floor at the same time. Well, there's a little bit of a sacrifice of spacing. The defense is so ridiculous, it is well worth it. And the thing is, those two being kind of an issue on offense sometimes, again, just because of a lack of spacing, although this is mitigated by them both being great finishers and really talented passers, the overall spacing ends up still being very good because of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. This team could not complement each other better. Garland and Donovan Mitchell can carry the offense, while Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley can carry the defense, and they also have a pretty solid bench unit. The number one source of conflict thus far has been that small forward spot, as there is not really an obvious person for that position. Caris LeVert might be the textbook definition of inconsistent. Isaac Okoro is a good defender, but he is currently shooting below 30% from the field and averaging 2 points per game, so he's not exactly great. Dean Wade seems like the best option thus far. He has been super duper good. He has stepped up as a defender, and he is currently shooting an insane 48% from three. I do want to make it clear that this video was recorded a few days ago by the time you're actually seeing it, so if any of these percentages have changed dramatically, then that's just unfortunate. But yeah, as of right now, Dean Wade shooting the shit out of the ball, Donovan Mitchell shooting the shit out of the ball. Dean Wade's also been a good defender, so I think that's your starting small forward. He's also like really tall, so you have three super duper tall guys in your front court and two absolutely incredible creators from the 3-point line and as playmakers and just overall scorers in your backcourt. Then if we could talk about this bench unit real quick, if Dean Wade becomes that long-term starter, that means you have a really good offensively creating duo off of the bench with Caris LeVert and Kevin Love. You really don't get two better offensive pieces to come off of your bench. And that's not to mention Cedi Osman, who I'd say is a pretty great eighth man. Like, this team has a fantastic starting lineup and they're super duper deep. They are both an incredible offensive team and an incredible defensive team. I believe they are top 3 right now in both categories. And as for the question of whether or not this team is a contender, to me at this point, it almost feels obvious. Like, I'm almost afraid that titling it that will have people go, duh. Like, it didn't seem like to a lot of us that they would be, but at this point, yeah, it kind of feels obvious. Like, duh. The Cavaliers are contenders. They're insanely good. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Cavs. I think they're also one of the most fun teams to watch in all of basketball. It's too bad it's being ruined by their awful jerseys. Anyways, shout out to Rudy for editing this video, and that is it. Goodbye.